In this video, I'll be revealing why decision paralysis actually catches high-performing professionals completely off guard, and how toxic workplaces actually create a conditioning that makes you believe that you cannot execute your next step right now because perhaps you don't feel confident enough anymore, or that actually opportunities are not available for you. I work with so many professionals already out there, and no matter if they have a PhD degree or if they're C-level executives, I can tell you that what you're going through is completely normal, because even for those people with such high profile resumes, escaping toxic workplaces is tough, and they think they don't have the qualifications anymore, and they doubt themselves, and they believe whatever their toxic boss installed in their mind so that they don't leave. And it makes them even more worried. And I get it, but I can tell you this, it's because of the prolonged gaslighting. Your toxic boss has installed beliefs in you that do not serve you in any way, shape, or form. Takes away your decision-making capacity in ways that make you feel psychologically trapped and stuck, when you deep down know you're not. So this is why I decided to make this video today. It's about showing you how this reality distortion is actually working, and how you have a learned helplessness right now going on for you that is actually destroying the identity that you've built up for yourself with so much hard work and love and dedication, and to remind you that your career and your identity is so much more than this small chapter that this toxic boss has been taken over. So let's get right into it. So there's a kind of reality distortion right now going on that basically destroys your whole professional judgment. And the thing is this, you are a high-performing individual and you have very accurate observations and sometimes even documentation already. And yet a part of you believes your toxic boss when they tell you that you're stupid, you're dumb, you don't know what you're doing, you remember reality wrong, and it's actually you are the problem. And honestly, what it does to everybody who is experiencing that kind of aggressive behavior towards them over a prolonged period of time is that you actually start to doubt yourself. And while this is something that used to be very helpful for you in the past, to take the reflection, to look inside, to say, what is my part in that? Could I be a better person? Could I be a more advanced professional? Could I actually show up differently and this would go away? While this used to be something really helpful for you, I want to tell you right now that this toxic boss is 100% using that against you. So right now, you taking a look inside and saying, am I perhaps the problem? Is exactly you doing what your toxic boss wants you to do. So you start believing their narrative by constantly searching the problem or the potential issue inside of you, when in reality you are being set up right now. So your confidence that you used to have in yourself and in your skills is being eroded on purpose by this toxic or even narcissistic boss. It's because this constant contradiction between your experience and then the story that they tell about you, of course, erodes your confidence in yourself, especially if you've been one of the people asking yourself, can I be better? Should I change the way I approach this? So your best traits are right now being used against you. And the problem is, no matter how much proof you seem to have right now, remembering that you actually are a good leader, remembering that you actually are great at your job, it doesn't really work. It's not that easy to actually convince yourself of the truth, because you've been in that gaslighting environment for too long. The problem is that you understood too late in what kind of situation you're putting yourself in each and every single day. And now the damage is a little bit bigger. So just telling yourself that will not cure it. It creates even more contradiction in your brain, because you hear the one story each and every single day while you're telling yourself another story each and every single day. And it creates even more frustration, contradiction, and honestly, at some point, even anxiety and fear. And if you keep yourself in that situation for too long, what actually can happen is the situation where you understand the dysfunction, you understand what's going on, but at the same time, you don't trust yourself anymore, because that's what's happening to you and it's normal. Let me tell you, this is normal. This is on purpose. So you have been trained to systematically doubt yourself and doubt your own judgment, because that's how they keep people stuck for so long, for years, sometimes decades, because they kind of create this environment where you don't trust yourself anymore and you think, I cannot make it anywhere else, so might as well just shut up and stay here. And this is what usually creates the bigger career damage. It's not the toxic situation, which is just a small chapter because you can walk away from that at any time. It's that reality distortion inside of you that is creating the long-term damage. And this is the one that's keeping you stuck. And then the first step that most of the people that I work with always take is setting healthy boundaries. And while that is a perfect thing in a healthy environment, it is very difficult to do in a toxic one, because the normal strategies that you used to learn in your career up until now, they don't work. And again, they don't work on purpose. So it's not you not setting them correctly. It's not you needing to learn to communicate better. It's actually quite the opposite. Workplace tactics and strategies that usually help you create a healthy work environment on purpose being punished by a toxic boss because they do not want to create a healthy workplace. Can you follow me here? Like, it's literally the opposite that they want on purpose. Sometimes, yes, it is because your toxic boss might not be knowing what they're doing. If you have like a super young one and perhaps they're just very unaware of everything that they're doing, which I would still ask, why are they in a leadership position then? Who brought them in that position to have this power over you? But yeah, it can exist. But I tell you that 90% of the clients that I talk with and 90% of the people that I talk with on social, they are all in situations where their boss knows exactly what they're doing. They don't have a junior kind of person as their superior. They're so high up already, the corporate ladder, that there are people that legitimately know how to play this game in their favor. And they decided to play the game toxically, basically to cheat themselves through the game. And one part of their cheat code is distorting your reality and making you believe them so they can keep on being there, trying to prove your value in a system where you will never be recognized and seen for your value. Quite the opposite. The more you try to get the sense of feeling worthy, feeling seen and heard, the more you work because of that, the greater your results actually. Objectively, the results are that you get from your work that your toxic boss can use for them. But the more they will distort it still and turn it around and spin it in a way where you think you still didn't deliver enough, where you think your skills might just not be as sharp as you used to believe, and where you slowly but steadily become smaller and smaller while you still deliver great work that your toxic boss can obviously use for themselves. Does that sound familiar? And it's even worse than that. Over time, you start to accept this mistreatment, because how humans work is like we're easily being brainwashed. And if we're constantly in an environment that tells us a certain thing, a certain story over and over, we tend after some time believe, because there's doubt being induced in your thoughts, in your train of thoughts, that you might be wrong, that you might be stupid, that you might not be as good as you think you are. So over time, you are actually believing them. And you will start to think that, yes, your boundaries are selfish. And you will start to believe that protecting yourself is actually not the right thing you do. And you will start to believe that you need to give more in order to make them see your worth. When in reality, because of your worth and because of what you bring to the table, you're seen as a threat. And that might be one reason why you are being targeted right now. So of course, your solution that you're using right now is no solution. It's just keeps you in this constant downward spiral, only benefiting your toxic boss, never benefiting you. And what I see is when professionals are in this kinds of environments for longer than 6 to 12 months, this is really when there's no self-advocacy left and where you literally stop fighting. And this is the really scary part. This is the part that scares me personally the most, because this is the moment where you accept that this is your new reality and this is how life is. And because you accept it right now, you have confirmation bias. And how does it work? Everywhere you look, you just see confirmation of your thought and belief that you are creating within you. So whenever you go on social media and you see somebody talk about the toxic boss, you say like, oh my God, look, it's everywhere. So it's not helping you in a way that you think, what should we do about it? But actually it's showing your brain and it's actually reinforcing that belief inside of you that it doesn't even matter where you go. There's going to be toxic bosses everywhere. So this confirmation bias starts to literally work against you and keeps you stuck as well, because now clients and people that I talk with start having this fear and say, but what if it's worse somewhere else? What if I should actually be kind of grateful from my toxic boss right now, because at least I know what I'm getting, right? And it could be worse somewhere else. I see all of those headlines now popping up that there are so many narcissists out there and there are so many toxic bosses out there. So I might run into something worse. So isn't it smarter for me to stay here, especially because this workplace, I already have this kind of salary and this kind of title. And since I now don't believe in my skills and my competence anymore, I cannot even really advocate for myself in interviews with people that don't even know me, that might not even be toxic. I don't even want to promote my skills anymore because I'm so deeply afraid of what might happen next. So can you see how there are so many patterns acting on you from the outside, now creating this distortion on the inside, so that it's not really about being stuck anymore. It's not being trapped by a toxic boss, but now you start to trap yourself. And that is scary because now you stop looking for exit strategies. And before I go even deeper, that can't be it. That is not the solution. And we, under no circumstance, will stop here in this moment where you're in right now. We won't stop here. Do you hear me? Because now you're actually on an identity level so distorted that nothing anymore makes sense. And at the same time, you're so deep in survival mode and anxiety that your whole life evolves around this toxic person. And why is that? Even if you do leave work at 5, you drive home thinking about your toxic boss. You sit at the dinner table thinking about your toxic boss. You're not present with your family anymore. You're not present with your children or your dog or your parents or your friends, because all your brain does is thinking through different things. What could they come up with next? What trap might they be setting next? How will they punish me if I do X versus how will they punish me if I do Y? Because you know deep down they'll punish you either way. So now, even off work, you're only thinking about work. And sleeping probably is not as rejuvenating anymore for you because you're so deep in survival mode and anxiety that sleep doesn't really do the trick anymore, because you might literally wake up at night thinking about your toxic boss. And let me tell you the good news. The good news is this is the lowest that you'll go, and there's no going lower than that, okay? And that's actually a good news. Because now that you understand where you're in, now that also you understand the psychological traps, now that you understand how they eroded your professional identity on a deep, deep level, now is the moment that you can actually take action to start to rebuild your decision-making capacity, to rebuild your confidence, and to also understand that this is just a chapter. If you take back charge and take back the power, and if this is you right now and you understand that you cannot get stuck in this any longer, then please click the link down below and apply to work with me in Corporate Warriors. You are worth so much more than this crappy situation that you're in right now, and we need to get you back on track. I refuse to see any more high performers, any more amazing leaders leave the corporate space because they think they're not cut out for it. Let me tell you, I work with a lot of high performers. Many of them are HSP, if you know that it means highly sensitive. And of course, you're being trapped the most because it really gets you at your core. But you are amazing leaders and you have everything it takes to make this happen. But right now, yes, let's do it in a community. Let's do it together with other people. Let's help each other and let's build you back up. Just click the link down below. Taking a look at it and applying is completely for free, and you can just hear it out and then decide for yourself what makes sense or not. And now what can you do in the meantime? How can we rebuild your judgment? Start, if you haven't yet, document. Documentation is so important. And even if you never need a lawyer, even if you never file a complaint with HR, documentation is important for you because it helps you remember reality for what it is. And yes, also go and seek an external perspective and talk with somebody that you deeply trust about this, because by being validated in what you see and the accuracy of it, you'll start to slowly but steadily rebuild trust in your accurate observations that they actually are. And through keeping written records of your interaction, the patterns will be revealed so that you understand how this gaslighting and how the patterns of your toxic boss actually work. And now let's start rebuilding some boundaries and know Not outspoken, loud, wild, clear-cut boundaries, except if you want to get fired, but smart boundaries that actually help you. So set a boundary in a safe situation first so that you actually relearn and remember that you do have the capacity to set boundaries. And it learns and it shows you that you do have power over your own reality. So start in a safe space. Start somewhere where it's not dangerous to set a boundary, but start setting the boundaries again so that your system learns again that you can create your own safety so that we can finally eliminate this learned helplessness. And guess what? Setting one boundary, even in a safe space, already starts building up your confidence in yourself as well. Because of course, you need to show yourself that you can trust yourself. You need to build some proof points that you can trust yourself again. And that way, your internal world slowly but steadily starts to shift again. And I can tell you from my experience that professionals who practice boundaries systematically, just, strongly, no matter what, but systematically and in a smart way, they leave those toxic situations like 40 to 60% faster than professionals that are afraid to even start going toward it or that want to force immediate change, because let us be honest, there will not be an immediate change. It needs to be gradual over time. And now that you also understood how you can already on your own start to rebuild and reconstruct yourself and your professional identity, let me please show you how you can put all of these together so they can actually use it for your exit planning. Because what is important here is you need a clear approach. Of course, it is overwhelming. You're already overwhelmed with your toxic boss, and that's what they want. So nothing is wrong with you if you feel overwhelmed. But if you feel overwhelmed, then what can you do to rebuild yourself? You can get some support. It's not failure to get support, but it is a difference if you get support from somebody who has never been in a toxic workplace, or if you're seeking support from a group of high performers that went through it themselves, that you can support each other while knowing how it is. Because yes, your support system is probably really great and do use it, but it's different to get support from people that lived through the same experience, because nobody will understand the pain that you're in right now if they have never gone through that pain. Do you see the difference? So it's not just about the community, even though that's a huge aspect, but it's also about having a crystal clear program step by step so that you can rebuild your identity and your professional self, so that this looking back is just one small chapter in your career, because there's so much more to come, but you need to be in the right place, in the right mindset. You need to know and remember your skills. You need to be self-confident, confidently sell your skills to a new employer. You need to know what you want so that you also see the red flags early, so you never get trapped in a similar situation ever again. And you need to understand how this game works so that your confirmation bias can start working for you again, instead of constantly keeping you trapped somewhere that you've either outgrown or that is bluntly just toxic. Yes, you're overwhelmed right now, and the worst kind of thing you can do is try to figure it out on your own, because it will be even more overwhelming. Let me tell you, I've built this program over months, nearly years now. That's how important it is to put all of those puzzle pieces together to make your professional identity whole again, so that you can live up to your full potential and be an amazing leader and be an amazing individual contributor and do what serves you, make a lot of money doing it, and going home and being able to disconnect, because that's how it's supposed to be. All right, so that was it for today. You can find the link down below. There's no risk in checking it out. There's a lot of risk, however, involved in just staying stuck. So please do me the favor. Don't be the high performer that abides by a toxic boss that does whatever they want and that starts to really erode their professional identity. You are worth so much more. You deserve a career that you're proud of, and you deserve to get untrapped and get out of there stronger, better, completely rebuilt. Let's do this together. See you in the next one.